Easily transform a 2D logo or image into an impressive 3D visual using the power of DaVinci Resolve 18. The Fusion page in DaVinci Resolve 18 provide a seamless solution to achieve this effect with simplicity and precision. So first thing first, we are going to create Fusion composition. By the way, there are a lot of ways you could do this, but this is how I do it. You could also bring your media pool in here as well, but I'm going to create a media composition right now. So I'm going to do that by right clicking this area in the media pool, and I'm going to create new Fusion composition in the media pool. So in my case, I'm going to name it 3D. You could name it whatever you want. So create. Now I have Fusion composition in the media pool, and I'm going to drag this to our timeline. Okay, so I now have this in our timeline. I'm going to select Fusion composition in our timeline, and I'm going to head to the Fusion page. Okay, so now we do not have a media in. That's because I just created a Fusion composition without no media in it. So I just created a media composition in the edit page. So in order to add media to our Fusion, again, there are many ways you could do this. I'm simply going to drag and drop. By the way, if you're doing a simple project, this could be the fastest way to get it done. All right, so drag and drop from my file to the Fusion page. So now I'm going to hit 1 so that way you could see what I have. So this is the Instagram logo. So we are going to be creating 3D from this 2D logo. All right, the next step is to add the image plane 3D. So I'm going to select the media in, and I'm going to select the image plane 3D. Since the node is right here, I'm just going to give it a click, and I'm going to select 1 now. So now the viewer 1 on the left side is now showing the image plane 3D. Okay, so the next one, we are going to choose the duplicate 3D, and we do not have it on our nodes right here. So we are going to type shift and space bar to get our tools. All right, so now we are going to look for our duplicate 3D. So as soon as you put in DUP, it's gonna pop up. So we are going to select our duplicate 3D, and we are going to select add, and now we have our duplicate 3D. So we are going to drag this to the second window, and now we're going to head over to our inspector, and we are going to make this a 3D. So basically what we're trying to do is to make it thick and closing the space in between. So basically we are going to make copies of this simple image, and we are going to make the spaces in between shrink. So you're not going to see the spaces in between. So it's going to have that 3D image. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so over here, I'm going to view it from the top, so that way you could see the sides and the top. Let's make it a bit closer. So now we have 2 copies now, but it's hard to tell how many copies we have right now because it's only 2. So let's make it 100, so that way you could understand what I'm talking about. Make it 100. They are too close together. Actually, they're so close that it's 0. So right now we are going to go to the Z offset, meaning forward or backwards. So Z offset. Now if I increase this, you could see the spaces in between. Okay, so I could go up and down. I'm gonna go minus, go the other way. Yes, so what we're trying to do now is to close these spaces, to shrink the spaces in between, so that way it's going to look like it's a single image but have a thickness to it. So what we're going to do now is to reduce this to 0.002. Okay, as you can see, it's a little thicker now, but it might be a little too slim. Let's make it 2 right here. Okay, this is too thick. So basically you're just going to be playing with these numbers, make it smaller. Okay, let's make it 1, reduce it half. Now if you think this is too thick, you could also reduce the size. As you can see now, it's thick on the side. I think this is a bit too thick, so I'm going to add 1 more 0 to it and add 1. All right, so I'm gonna add 5. All right, so I like this size right here. So basically we have a lot of logos in here, but we closing the spaces so that way we don't see the spaces in between. So now we will go around it has this 3D looking image. Okay, so now to animate this, let's say you want it to rotate on the x-axis or you want to rotate on the y-axis. We are going to use another node because you cannot do it right here, because when you're trying to use it right here, this is what happens. So we cannot use this for the animation of rotation. So in order to do that, we are going to add transform 3D node. So we are going to select this, we are going to select duplicate 3D, and we are going to hit shift and spacebar, and we are going to look for transform 3D node, and we are going to hit add. So now this is where we can animate our rotations. So let me hit 2. Okay, so now we can rotate this how we want, and we can animate this as well. Okay, so let me show you an example of what I mean right here. Okay, so let's animate this a little bit to show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's say you want to animate that. As usual, you could animate this just like you could animate any other stuff on DaVinci Resolve. So what we're going to do now is to click the diamond in the beginning, and we are going to get the time indicator somewhere right here. You know what, let's make it shorter so that way it's just easy. All right, so I'm going to end the rotation right here, and right here I'm going to say 720. Is it 7? Yeah, 720. All right, so when I play it, okay, so it's a little fast. Well, that's because I put 720 and I put the time right here. So if I increase this to the end and I still put 720, it's going to be a little slower. So as you can see, now it's spinning, and that's how you do it. Basically, you are done with the transformation from 2D to 3D. So now the next step is to get it to the media out. So since we are using 3D, we need a 3D merge. Okay, so we are going to look for the 3D merge. I believe it's right here, and we are going to select 3D merge. So now we have the 3D merge. Also, you need a 3D renderer, so that way you could render the 3D to the media out. So now we also need a 3D renderer after the merge. So we are going to look for 3D renderer, and it's right here. So we are going to select that, and now we have the 3D renderer. So now we are going to connect this to the media out. So now when we select media out, we now have the final product at the media out at number 2. Okay, so also we are going to change the type. Okay, so we are going to change this to OpenGL renderer. Make sure to change the type to OpenGL renderer. Okay, so let's play this now that we've loaded that. Boom. And voila, we are done. And that's how you turn any 2D plain image to 3D image. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you will never miss out on our latest content, tutorial, and tips. We greatly appreciate your support, and it motivates us to keep creating valuable videos for you. So go ahead, hit that like button and click the subscribe button to join our community. Thank you for your support.